Hi besties, welcome back again to Style by Tessa channel. If you're a new subscriber, you're highly welcome to my channel. So guys, in today's tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful crop blazer you are seeing on me. You can see how fine, how pretty it's looking. I'm going to be taking you through the step-by-step process on how to cut this beautiful blazer. So without further ado, let's get right into the video, guys. So guys, this is my pattern paper. I went ahead to rule out a starting line. So guys, I'm going to be marking the half length of my blazer. Remember that this is a crop blazer, so it's not supposed to be too short and it's not supposed to be too long. So I marked out 16 inches from my shoulder to my waistline, and I went ahead to add extra 2 inches also after I marked out the waistline. So you can add 1 inch or you can add 2, depends on how long you want your blazer to be or how cropped you want it to be, guys. So this is me marking out the line after adding extra 2 inches to it. So I'm gonna add to draw out that line, and I'm going to label it so that we don't make a mistake. It's just for us to know that, oh, this is the waistline or this is the full length. You can just go ahead to label your lines, guys. So after doing that, guys, after marking the length of your blazer, we're going to go ahead to mark our bust points. Mind you, we're actually drafting for the back first before we go ahead to draft for the front of our blazer. So after marking your bust points, also label, guys. Just label so that you don't forget that, oh, this is the bust, this is the waistline, so it doesn't get confusing while you are connecting, guys, or when you are cutting. So I went ahead to label my bust point, and now we are going to be getting the chest line. So most people do go up from their bust line by 2. Most people divide their bust by 6 and add 1.5 inch. So whichever one works for you, it's fine. But for me, I'm going to be dividing my bust by 6 and I'm going to be adding 1.5 to each. So that is what I marked there. As you can see, I just marked it like so, and I'm going to also rule that out now. Rule that line that I just marked, I'm going to be ruling it. So just watch the way I'm going to do it. But before I rule, I'm going to mark up my shoulder measurements, which is my shoulder divided by 2. Then I came down by 0.5 because initially I thought I was going to be using a shoulder pad for this tutorial, but I ended up not using it. So you can do 1 inch for your shoulder slant, guys. And then I took my neck measurement 3 by 3, and then sorry guys, I came down by 1 inches for the neck depth, and because this is for the back is not supposed to be more than 1 inch, guys, because we are drafting a blazer. So I'm going to be connecting now. I'm going to be connecting these lines that I have marked out after measuring on my pattern paper. So I'm going to connect my shoulder slant to my neck point, and now I'm also going to be measuring that same shoulder measurement I took for the starting line. This is to ensure I get a straight line. It's nothing personal, nothing too complicated. I'm just trying to get a straight line, and then I'm going to rule it to the first point we marked out for our chest line, guys. So this line that we just wrote down is going to be our armhole line, guys. So this is how it's looking after I have ruled it out, and I'm going to label that line my chest line, guys. So after that, I'm going to place my tape on this my armhole line, and I'm going to be dividing whatever I have there by 2. I'm going to make a mark there. As you can see, I'm going to mark it out now. And then after doing that, I'm also going to take my bust measurement on this my chest line. I'm going to be measuring my bust measurements on my chest line, guys. This is to enable us connect our armhole directly to that our bust measurements when we're connecting this our armhole. So I'm going to come down by 0.5. Why am I doing this? This is because a blazer is not supposed to be tight. The armhole is not supposed to be tight, which is the armpit is supposed to be very, very free, because this is a blazer, guys. So after doing that, I'm just going to connect it to that same 0.5 inch I came down with. I'm going to connect it to that points, guys. So as you can see, this is how it's looking. So besties, having done that, I'm going to move on right now to work on our darts for this our blazer. So on this my bust measurement, guys, I'm going to come in by my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So mine is 4. Your nipple to nipple, you are going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to mark this all the way down to the full length of my blazer, and I'm just going to mark a straight line like so. So now, guys, on this our waistline, which is also our full length, whichever one you call it, I'm going to be marking 0.75 on each side. So I'm going to mark 0.75. This is my waistline. So altogether it's going to be 1.5 inch, guys. 1.5 inches. And after marking that, I'm going to connect it like so to meet my bust point there, over there. So as you can see, this is how it's looking like. I took 0.75 on each side on my waistline. So this is me trying to confirm again if it's exactly 1.5, guys. So when you're measuring you're taking your round measurements on your waist, ensure to impute that we took out. You're sure to put it back, which is the 1.5 inches, guys. So having explained that, I'm going to move over to the next step. So having explained how we imputed our darts, our 0.75 on each side of our waist, I'm going to be measuring my waist measurement, which is my round waist measurement, and I'm going to be imputing that same 1.5 inches. Please ensure to replace that your dart, else you're going to have issues when you are making your fabric, like cutting on fabric or sewing it, guys. So ensure to always put it. So I'm going to measure my bust measurement. I'm also going to place it on my bust line like so. I'm going to place my bust measurement, guys. I'm going to place it on my bust measurement as well, which is your bust measurement divided by 4 as usual. And then I'm going to connect. I'm going to make a mark, guys. So this is it. I'm trying to make a mark now. I'm making a mark. So you're just going to connect your lines, and you're going to be connecting from your bust to that same 1.5 inches. That you're not connecting it directly to your exact waist measurement. You're also going to connect it directly to that that we replaced back, guys. So besties, from this our darts, we are going to connect it to our shoulder, our arm points, which is that point there over there. We're going to connect it like so, because remember, this is a princess dart. So you are going to use the curvy part of your roll, and you are going to connect it like so on your paper. So make sure that that point is not too sharp. If it's too sharp, you are just going to curve it, you're just going to blend it in, because it's not supposed to be points, it's not supposed to be sharp at all. So these are the lines. We have gotten our shoulder, our bust, we have connected our dart. So this is how it's looking. This is how all the lines are looking. And from this our waistline, which is also our full length, I'm going to go in by 0.5, and I'm going to connect it directly to the top of my pattern paper. I'm going to, but before doing that, I'm also going to connect my neck, because we haven't actually connected the lines at our neck. We haven't actually connected our neck lines. So I'm going to connect now the 0.5 inch I took from the waist. I'm going to connect it all the way to the top like this, and voila, we have gotten our lines, guys. So this is how the lines are looking. This is how your sheet will looking. And I'm going to label this the back, and now we are going to move over to our front measurements. But before doing that, I measured my neck. This is for my back pattern. I measured around my neck for my back pattern. This is because we are going to be needing it for our front pattern drafting. So I'm going to write this down. I had 3.75. So whichever one you have, whatever you have, you're going to write that down because you're going to be needing it for the front, guys. So now let's move over to our front pattern. So this is my pattern paper for my front, and I'm going to start by ruling out a straight line, which is my starting point. I'm going to rule that down, but before doing that, I'm going to come down by about 5. You can come down by 6. This is because we want to have enough space to draft our collar. So make sure you don't start from the top of your pattern paper. You're going to come down by, let's say 5 or 6. But me, I did 6. Yes, I did 6, and then I'm going to be coming in by about 5 inches. So it depends on, this also depends on how wide you want your lapels to be. Most people do come in by 4, but I don't think anyone should go in lesser than 4. Yeah, so you can do 4, 5, or even 6 as well. Depends on how wide or whatever you are working with. So sometimes I do go in by 4 or 5, depends on what I want to work with. So after doing that, now we are going to start taking the lines for our pattern for this tutorial of our front drafting, guys. So as usual, we're also going to take our bust measurement, our bust point, sorry, and mine is 10.5. Make sure you take your bust point, guys. And after doing that, I'm also going to mark my under bust point, yeah, and mine, I was having 3.5. And then my half length from my front, remember the half length from your front and your back is not the same. So mine for my front, I'm also going to be imputing that same 1 and 2 inches I had for the back as well. You're going to add everything together to your front half length. You're going to add, if it's 1 inch you added extra for your back, do the same thing, add that same 1 inch to the front when you're drafting it, guys. So having explained that, I went ahead to rule out the lines, and then I'm going to take my shoulder measurements, which is divided by 2, as you all know. Remember, we are taking this measurement after the line we drew. We came in by 5 inches, so you're going to be taking your measurements after that line, guys. So I marked out my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then I also marked out the same 3.3 for my neck, and I came down with the same 3.3, guys. Please note that 3 by 3 is what I used for my neck, and I'm going to be connecting my shoulder stand. I also did the same 0.5 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect my neck like so. So this is me connecting my neck. So you can see how it's looking, guys. So after doing that, we're also going to do the same thing we did for our to get our chest line. You're going to divide your bust by 6, and you're going to add extra 1.5 inches to that, guys. Remember, most people do come up by 2 inches after their bust point, but that doesn't really work for everybody. So if that works for you, fine. That doesn't work for you, also fine. And now I'm also going to ensure I get a straight line, I'm also going to mark my shoulder also, and then I'm going to connect it like this. And yeah, for now we've gotten our chest line and also our armhole line, guys. So remember, on this our armhole line, we're also going to measure whatever we have there, and we're going to divide it by 2, guys. So these are the lines. This is how it's all looking after connecting the neck, coming down by our bust point, our under bust, our length for the front blazer, and also having gotten our chest line as well. So I'm just trying to go over it again in case we did not get it the first time. I'm explaining it again for the second time so that we all can be carried along together and we don't miss our steps along the way. So now I'm going to place my tape now on this our armhole line. I'm going to place my tape now, and I'm going to divide by 2, guys. I'm going to divide by 2. So versus, like I said earlier, I'm going to place my tape on this my armhole line, and I'm going to be dividing by 2. Yeah, just fold your tip into two and then you make your mark. Then I'm going to come in by 0.5 and I'm also going to make a mark there. There on this my chest line, I'm going to take my bust measurements divided by 4 as usual. I'm going to take my bust measurements divided by 4. Remember, we are going to place our tip after the line we came in with for our lapel. So after making a mark, that same place, you are going to come down by 0.5. Remember, we did it for the back also, and you know the reason why we did it. This is because the blazer is not the armhole, which is the armpit, is not supposed to be tight at all. It's supposed to be free. So this is the way I'm connecting this. I'm going to connect it now directly to that 0.5 inch now. So this is how it's looking. So when you now want to cut or sew, you're going to notice that the armhole line is going to be very, very free. Yeah, it's not going to be tight. Your client is not going to complain. Now guys, the same thing we did for the back, we're going to divide our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. You're going to mark on your bust, your under bust, and also the length of this our blazer. You're going to mark it like so. So now guys, we're going to be doing our under bust tightening for this our blazer, and I'm going to be using 0.75 on each side guys. So in total it's going to be 1.5 inches. That I hope you understand. So I'm going to take 0.75 on one side and I'm going to take 0.75 on the other side of my bust. I'm also going to do the same thing on the waist, which is also the full length of this our blazer. I'm also going to do the same thing, 0.75 on each side, and I'm going to connect it like so. So just watch how I am connecting mine. You're going to connect the lines to the other bust that we marked. So this is how I'm going to be connecting mine. And now we are going to, you're supposed to use a curvy part for this, but I don't really have the other type of pattern ruler, or how they call it. So I just use the one I have. Yeah. So you're supposed to use that curvy part to curve this other side of this our darts like so. You're supposed to curve it like this. Yeah, so this is how yours should be looking, or even better if you have to a better rule at hand. So now, so besties, remember this is a process that, so we are going to be extending this line to meet that our point we made at our armhole line. So I'm going to use this curving part of my rule again, and I'm going to extend the line. So this is it. We have gotten our process that's now that place. So this is how it's looking. So guys, I'm sorry you cannot see the lines. It's not very visible. For my next tutorial, I'm going to be using a marker, I promise. So now on this our bust line, we are going to measure our bust measurement divided by 4 on our bust line, and then on this our waistline, we are also going to measure our waist measurement, our round waist measurement divided by 4. Make a mark, and then measure what you have on this our dart. Remember we took 0.75 on both sides, so yeah, it's going to give us 1.5 inches, and I'm going to be inputting that as well. Remember to always input your darts guys. So with that being said, I'm going to connect the lines like so, and yeah, just go. So guys, after marking the lines, I just went ahead to connect like so, as you can see. Now on this our bust, after our bust line, we're going to be taking out the difference and marking out a bust that's there. So if you added 1 inch extra to yours, just mark it there, and we're going to close up that when you are cutting. If it's 2, if it's 1.5, just mark it there after your bust line, and we're going to close up that so that it doesn't have a bulge. That is the reason why we are doing that. So with that being said, on this our under bust line, we are going to come down by 2 inches guys. We are going to come down by 2 inches, and on the full length of this our blazer, the full length, which is also the way, we are going to come out by 2 inches as well, and I'm going to make a mark. I'm doing this for the button allowance, guys, the button. So if you're wondering why we are marking 2 inches coming in and coming out by 2 inches, it is for our button, guys, our buttons. Remember, we're going to put buttons on this our blazer, so that is why I marked that out. My line wasn't very straight, so I had to mark it again and connect it. So I have actually corrected that now. So quickly, guys, I'm going to be working on the lapel of this blazer. So firstly, I'm going to be connecting broken lines. I'm doing this because I want to determine how wide I want my lapel to be. Please, guys, if you've watched to this extent, please like and subscribe to this channel. Leave your comments. Even if you don't have a comment, please drop your favorite emoji and I'll respond as well. If you have any questions, you can also do that in the comment section. Thank you so much. So guys, after marking this broken line, like I said, it's not really necessary. I'm just doing this to determine how wide I want my lapel, to see how wide I want my lapel to be actually. So I'm going to be coming out from this our neck points like so. I'm going to be coming out by 4 inches. You can do 3.5, depends on how you want yours to be, depends on what you are working with, guys. So now, besties, I'm going to be extending the line like so to that point we marked. Yeah, as you can see, I just hope you guys can really see the lines, but I promise in my next tutorial I'm going to be using a marker so the lines will be visible and everything. So I'm just going to place my pattern ruler like this, and I'm going to be connecting like so. So you don't want it to be too straight, you also don't want it to be too curvy. But guys, along the line I found out that 4 inches was too wide for me, so I decided to reduce it to 3.5 inch. That is the main reason why I connected broken lines, so that I'm just going to see how wide it looks like before I actually fold in and all of that. So I went ahead to just connect like this from that button line to that point, the 3.5 inches that I marked. So now this is our lapel now. So you can see it's not too wide, it's also not too small, and it's very, very perfect for me. So besties, remember our back neck measurements were measured all around. Remember I told you guys to write it somewhere. So when I measured I was having 3.75, right? So I'm going to be marking it now like so. I'm just going to mark a straight line as a guideline, because our neck is not straight like this. Yeah, so I'm just going to be reading out this line as a guideline for this part. So I'm going to place my tape like this, but before doing that I'm going to come out by 0.5 inches, guys, because when I'm connecting the line it's not going to be straight. Like I said, our neck is not straight like that. Yeah, so on this starting point, on this starting line like so, I'm going to now mark out the 3.75 that I measured for the back. Yeah, so that is the main reason I said we are going to be needing that measurement, and you should write it somewhere so you don't forget. So I'm going to connect it now straight to that 0.5 we came out with. So you see how it's looking. I just hope you guys can see the lines because my pencil is misbehaving. So this is how it's looking like as we've connected it like so. So besties, I'm going to place my tape now on that 0.5 we came out with that point. I'm going to mark 4.5. Yeah, like so. Some people do 4 or 5, but 4 should be the least so that you don't have issues. And I'm going to connect it like this with my curvy ruler. As you can see, this is the width now of this our collar of our blazer. So besties, remember that this is a notch collar, so I'm going to be explaining what I did here. So guys, at this point I came out by 1 inch, guys, and I made a mark. Then at this other point, the line we extended earlier, I came up by 1.5 inches. So the space you should be having after connecting the lines to that 1 inch we came out with should be about 1.5 inches space. So this is our notch collar after I've drafted this. So I hope we understand. If you don't understand, kindly let me know, or just replay the video slowly so that you understand what I did there. So now I'm going to use my curvy ruler now to curve this part of my collar, and I'm going to label this my collar, guys. So as you can see, it's super simple, guys. I've already cut out my collar, sorry, drafted out my collar. So this is how it's looking now. This is the lines, all the lines, we've gotten all the lines. Now we are almost done with this tutorial, and very soon we are going to be cutting this out on our fabric, guys. These are the lines, you can see how fine it's looking, and this is our back. We're going to go ahead now to cut for the back pattern first before we move ahead to the front, guys. Kindly take note of how I am cutting mine so that you don't cut it wrongly and then have issues. So just be patient and watch how I am cutting mine, guys, for the back. So this is it, this is how I am cutting it. So just don't rush, just take your time. So guys, if you have watched till this extent, you know what to do. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, comment on this video. It's so sad that I'll make videos and you guys don't even drop one comment from me. Please guys, drop a comment. Even if you don't know what to say, just drop your favorite emoji, and I'm going to be doing the same, guys. I'm going to respond to all messages, I promise. So guys, just drop a comment, and it encourages me to drop more tutorials on this channel, guys. Thank you so much. So this is me cutting out the ½ inch I went in on the waistline. I'm going to be cutting it out like so, guys. And having done this, I'm going to move over to the front pattern. So you see, this is how we're going to sew it, but that part was looking too sharp, so I'm just going to blend it in now so it will be curvy. If yours is too sharp, ensure to cut it out to just blend it, because it's not supposed to be sharp. It's going to give you issues, guys. I'm really going to be explaining what I did here on this, how I close up my bust dart. So firstly, I actually took 2 inches, but I figured out it was too much, yeah, so I had to reduce it, and by doing so I also reduced the length of my crop blazer as well, so that it doesn't affect it. So instead of me adding extra 2 inches, I just added 1 inch extra. So that is why you see the it's kind of somehow here. So I'm just trying to explain how I did it, guys, before closing up with my tape. So I'm just going to recut it again, yeah, like so, and I'm going to close it up now, yeah. After removing the 1 inch, now I'm going to close it now. This is me closing up my real bust darts for this tutorial. So if you came down with 1, fine, 1.5, fine, but I don't think 2 inches is going to work well. It's going to be very difficult for you, so that is why I had to reduce mine. But if you did 1.5, that one will also work very well for you. So after doing that, you are just going to use your tape to close it up, or you can use a gum, but don't use a pin. I won't advise using a pin. Just use a gum or a paper tape like mine, and just close up your dart. So guys, you'll notice that after closing up your bust dart, the lines will be aligning, so you have to reconnect it again so that you don't have shortage when you are cutting. So this is me just connecting the lines back again so that it is equal before I proceed to cutting, guys. And now let me cut every other part of this pattern paper, then we'll proceed to cutting out on fabric. Quickly, guys, I'm going to be explaining here. So on this our collar and lapel, I'm going to be notching where the ends meet, like this point meets, which is for the notch side. I'm going to be making a mark there so that when I'm cutting on my fabric and I want to join, I'm going to know where I'm going to join and where I'm not going to join. So I also made a notch there at the other side of my collar, and these two notches I made, I'm going to also do the same thing on my fabric as well, so that when I want to join, it's not going to be difficult for me. I hope you guys understand. You are going to notch these places that I made a mark, do the same thing on your own, so that you don't make a mistake when you are joining, so it doesn't actually affects your blazer process and all of that. So that is why it is very necessary to make a mark, and then on your pattern paper you are now going to notch it, so that you are going to know, oh, this is where I'm going to join and this is where I am not going to join together. I hope we understand this. Now I'm going to proceed to cutting the this lapel part of my blazer. Then we move to cutting on fabric. I'm going to cut out this collar entirely, because we are going to be joining it when we start the sewing process. We're going to join this collar like so this is what I mean when I said notch. It's necessary to notch. So you see now that I know that, oh, this is where the points will meet, and it will give us our notch collar effect. So this is for the front pattern, guys. We are done, and this is my fabric. I've gone ahead to cut on the fabric. Once I had to iron cause stay on my fabric. This my collar, it was on fold at the top. It was on fold at the top. I went ahead to add half inches on around. I also went ahead to notch that part that I marked on my paper. I just went ahead to notch because I couldn't mark with a chalk because they might clean off. So I went ahead to also add necessary allowance. You can add 1 or 1.5, depends on whichever one you can work with, guys, but for me I added 1.5 inches allowance. Please don't mind my different color of cloth stay. I wasn't having enough cloth stay, so I even had to go to the market to buy, so that I could iron on for my lapel part. So guys, I realized this video was becoming too long, so I had to cut it short, and I'll be posting a part 2 of the sewing tutorial and also the outcome of this blazer, guys. And guys, this was how the blazer actually turned out. I'll be posting the sewing tutorial, guys. Please stay tuned, comment, like and subscribe to this channel, guys, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you get notified when I post my the sewing tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.